Tonight, a historic industrial agreement launches for Broken Hill small businesses. And a woman in her 60s miraculously avoids serious injuries in a terrifying car rollover.
From our 7 Spencer Golf Studios, your nightly news with Ruby Kamain begins now.
Good evening. A new industrial agreement has been signed in Broken Hill in what could be a landmark moment for small businesses in the city. The agreement said to cement existing county allowances and provide added security for employers.
At the birthplace of some of Australia's most significant union movements, another milestone agreement is introduced.
Broken Hill Small Business Association regards this as a very historic day for the small businesses of Broken Hill.
Putting pen to paper, the Small Business Model Industrial Agreement finalised.
This industrial agreement is going to protect the unique working opportunities of those living in Broken Hill.
The agreement aims to cement current bonuses for Yankuina County, including the district allowance of an extra 4.28% pay.
It's just protecting the current conditions. It's not doing anything in particular that's going to place a higher burden on the businesses than what's already all required.
While many of these conditions already exist in modern awards, the agreement between the Small Business Association and the Barrier Industrial Council hopes to future-proof current conditions.
For the next period of time, the 5 years of this agreement, that these conditions are going to be the conditions that we will be striving to achieve and what the businesses should be achieving.
It's said to also protect business owners by removing grey areas in Broken Hill's unique pay requirements.
It does simplify those modern awards. Those modern awards are quite complex and probably difficult to read.
The Small Business Association now encouraging its members to accept the agreement, which will come into effect from July 1. Lachlan Itter, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Tough new laws have passed New South Wales Parliament to better protect emergency service workers from vile spitting attacks. The legislation will require anyone who deliberately exposes frontline workers to bodily fluids to provide a blood or saliva sample within 2 days. Those who fail to do so could face a $10,000 fine and 12 months imprisonment. The Police Commissioner says the changes will reduce wait times for officers to find out whether they've been exposed to bloodborne diseases like HIV and hepatitis. A driver has miraculously escaped serious injury after her car and caravan rolled at Little Topa. The caravan ending up on its roof beside the Barrier Highway, 70 kilometres east of Broken Hill at 12:30 yesterday afternoon. Fire crews removing the door of the four-wheel drive so paramedics could attend to the woman aged in her 60s. She was taken to Broken Hill Hospital with only minor injuries. There's been an increase in lead levels in children's blood, according to Port Pirie's first quarter blood lead level report released for the year. But one doctor says the findings are not unexpected.
Blood lead levels in Port Pirie on the rise.
So the average blood lead levels went up. The number of children who had lead levels above 5 increased. And our 2-year-olds, which are quite robust indicators of what's happening in the community, also went up.
A new report finding around 32% of children tested had blood lead levels below the national lead exposure level of 5 micrograms per decilitre, 3.5% worse than the first quarter of last year. But Dr. Simon says it doesn't come as a surprise, with children tested in this reporting period experiencing higher lead in air levels during their early years.
Any increase in lead exposure is concerning, and we are a little disappointed in the way it's trending, but it wasn't unexpected given that there were quite high lead in air levels last year.
In a statement, Nearstar says it takes the report's results very seriously, outlining it has been taking action with the state government to drive reductions in both lead in air and blood lead levels. Also saying it expects to drive change through the appointment of TLAP's Executive Director, Peter Dolan, and implement key recommendations from last year's TLAP review. The second quarterly report will come out in 3 months' time, but Dr. David Simon says it's unlikely there will be much of a decrease in blood lead levels.
So the lead in air levels, if they come down and stay down for a period, the children's blood lead levels will follow suit, but it can take perhaps even up to 12 months for that to happen.
Katrina Musson, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Still to come tonight, the push to get more women into local government. And a supermarket giant opens its doors in the Steel City. We'll see you after the break. Welcome back. The region's emergency services personnel certainly do a lot for our community. Today is Thank a First Responder Day, encouraging people to reach out and thank those who are first on the scene, keeping the community safe.
Always out in force. Today, an opportunity to thank our region's emergency services, the first ones out there saving lives.
It's our chance to say thank you and to acknowledge the good work that all first responders, regardless if they supporting us and us supporting them.
First Responders Day is a collaborative effort between emergency response services around the country and Fortum Australia, a group who supports the mental health of first responders and their families.
We find it with support all over Port Lincoln and all throughout the region, especially if we're in uniform, if we're responding to a job, we get great support from the community.
Karen Creswell says it's an opportunity to give back to the community that offers you so much.
To be a really good role model to my children, to show that we should be giving back to our community as well.
The SES is always on the lookout for more volunteers, with skippers, truck drivers and even communication staff wanted.
If you give our duty number a call on 0427 975 396, our duty officer will be able to give you some more information, or you can pop down to the unit on a Wednesday night between 7 and 7:30.
The aim, to create a clear and resounding voice of gratitude for those who do so much for us, for so little in return. Dylan Smith, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
With Broken Hill's local government election less than 4 months away, there are calls for more women to put up their hand and represent their community. The Mayor says women have plenty to offer and shouldn't be hesitant about running for council.
Broken Hill's council chambers bucking a worrying trend. While our elected members are an almost even split of men and women, that's not the norm.
At the moment, across New South Wales, it's under 30% of women councillors. That's unacceptable.
The local Government Women's Association wants to see that change. A Getting Women Elected forum to be held in Broken Hill this Friday.
This workshop will tell them how to run a campaign, what are the current requirements by the state government and the Electoral Commission.
The association's Vice President and Mayor of Penrith, Karen McCohen, will share her experiences in local government.
For some reason, a lot of women don't feel that they have the necessary skills to be able to run for local government.
Women don't understand that as they sit at home, they're already the accountant running the family budgets. They're already looking at transport.
Saying the formalities of a council meeting don't need to be overwhelming.
Broken Hill Council will have a comprehensive induction program for new councillors.
All you need to get started is a passion for the community.
All you fabulous women of Broken Hill, come along on Friday just to find out what it's about.
Lachlan Itter, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
The Port Augusta City Council has proposed a 2.7% rate increase for the next financial year. The new rating system would see a fall in general rates for commercial and industrial properties and vacant land. However, average rates will increase for residential properties, holiday homes and primary production. On average, residential properties could increase by $217. Residents in Wayala braved a chilly morning to grab a bargain at the city's newest supermarket. German supergiant chain Aldi opening to the public today, with hopes it will bring an economic boost to the community.
Despite a chilly Wayala morning, some early risers woke up to experience shopping the German way. Supermarket chain Aldi now set up shop in the Steel City after months in the making.
It's a great day. Finally, it's open. Everyone's been eagerly anticipating today, so it's great to see another economic development for the city of Wayala.
The Mayor says Aldi's opening is just one part of many projects that increase optimism in the city's future, creating close to 20 full and part-time jobs for the community.
Any extra jobs that we can bring into our economy is extremely important.
Terry Fry was one of the first people in line to experience the new supermarket in Wayala. After moving from Queensland, he says he had to drive close to 2 hours to Port Pirie in order to shop at Aldi.
I've been waiting for Aldi to open for 3 years because just after I moved down here, they announced it was opening.
Aldi promotes itself as different from its competition by offering weekly special buys, including televisions, clothing and gardening tools.
There's a lot of things that I can't get in the other supermarkets that I can actually get here.
Mark Zita, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Stay with us after the break. The Wayala Show back on, preparing to celebrate its 50th birthday. And we get a sneak peek into the upcoming Mortlock Shield, promising a big long weekend of footy. Hello again. A much-loved Wayala tradition is back after being cancelled during the coronavirus pandemic. The Wayala Show will proceed this year and will be celebrating a special milestone.
It's an event more than 50 years in the making. The Wayala Show back on this year after being scrapped due to COVID-19.
We were very disappointed to cancel our show last year, but it was what it was, and we're very much looking forward to putting on an amazing show for our community this year.
Now, preparing to celebrate the 50th edition of the show, and Tammy Pond says there is plenty in store to commemorate the milestone. A replica of the original show program from the 70s also created for the event.
We're definitely paying our honour to the very first committee for putting on that first show, and amazing that we've been able to replicate the first cover.
However, there will be some changes to this year's show to accommodate COVID-19 protocols. Anyone booking a ticket must now pick one of 3 sessions to attend, and there will be a crowd limit of 5,000 people per session. But Ms. Pond says interest has been high from residents who are keen to return to the show.
We are so honoured to be reaching this milestone for our community, and we're very, very happy to be putting on the 50th Wayala Show.
Tickets can now be purchased online through the event's Facebook page or at the Show Society's office at Jubilee Park. As they say in show business, the show must go on. Mark Zita, 7 Spencer Golf News.
A renewable energy forum is coming to the Upper Spencer Gulf later this month. It will include a presentation and panel discussion about the challenges and opportunities created by the renewable energy boom in the region. Academics will be leading the discussion, with locals, businesses and other organisations encouraged to attend. It will be held at Central Augusta Football Club on June 21. Attendees will need to RSVP by next Tuesday. There's only a few days left to see the Mabo exhibition, which is being showcased at the Port Pirie Art Gallery. The display recognising the 29th anniversary of the Mabo decision, as well as hosting co-creator and the daughter of Eddie Mabo, Gail. The Tourism and Events Manager says it's a perfect way to spend the long weekend.
Last chance to see, it's actually closing on Tuesday at 5 p.m. So if you haven't seen it already, it's a last chance to see before it heads back to Queensland.
The exhibition will run until Tuesday, with locals and visitors encouraged to check it out. Pitchy Richie Marathon organisers are calling for new volunteer bus drivers ahead of the event later this month. The marathon is set to be held on June 27 and drivers need to be able to start early. A current driver's licence is required, with the volunteers responsible for transporting participants from Corn to various starting points. Those who are interested are being encouraged to contact organisers. There's plenty of anticipation across the region, with Port Lincoln to host one of Australia's longest-running football tournaments. The Mortlock Shield is returning to the city this weekend after last year's event was cancelled due to COVID-19.
The stage is set at Centenary Oval in Port Lincoln this long weekend.
For the first time this year, they're actually all going to play each other. So all teams will have 4 games over Saturday and Monday. So that's going to make it very interesting.
This year marks the 85th running of the Mortlock Shield, regarded as Australia's longest running football tournament, creating plenty of anticipation around the region after last year's competition was forced to be cancelled due to COVID.
We didn't have one last year, so there's a lot of enthusiasm about coming back down and getting back into Mortlock again.
5 teams set to battle it out for the Shield this year, with Lincoln City, Lincoln Districts, Great Flinders, Western and Eastern Air hoping to write themselves into the record books.
The footballers themselves, they actually get a chance to be selected in the EP side that goes away for the State Country Championships.
But for locals on the EP, it is much more than a game, with the carnival bringing the community together in one place.
I think the favourite part is just catching up with everybody and doing that networking and socialising and just watching everybody coming and just enjoying the football.
Visit the Mortlock Shield website to grab your tickets for this weekend. Dylan Smith, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Stay with us after the break. Our reporter Lachlan Itter will bring us all the best places to fill up our cars for the long weekend. And we'll have all the weather details with Alex Sykes. Welcome back. If you're loading up the car and heading away for the Queen's birthday weekend, you'll likely notice prices have gone up at the Bowser, but thankfully we haven't seen any huge jumps. Lachlan Itter has the all-important long weekend fuel watch.
If you're anything like me, you always expect fuel prices to go up ahead of a long weekend. That has happened in many parts of our regions, but don't panic just yet. Let's take a closer look at unleaded, and it's that familiar story of just small price jumps. Broken Hill continues its unwanted reign as the most expensive place to fill up. We're sitting bang on $1.47 a litre. That's a whole 10 cents more than Port Pirie, which remains the cheapest option, even with a slight increase this week. Prices also up in Kadina and Wayala, both by ½ cent to $1.40 a litre. It's smooth sailing for drivers in Port Lincoln and Port Augusta. Expect to fork out $1.43 a litre, and that does put those two cities at the pricier end of things. Good news if you're visiting family in Adelaide this weekend, just $1.30 there, so it's certainly worth filling up in the city if you can. Over to diesel, where there's red arrows right across the board. Wayala's seen the biggest jump, going up by almost 2 cents to $1.39 a litre. Port Augusta and Broken Hill, the only towns where you'll pay more, $1.42 and $1.48 a litre respectively. Port Lincoln and Port Pirie have both gone up by around ½ cent, though Pirie is still your best bet at $1.35. You'll pay slightly more than that in Kadina, and again, if you're heading to the Big Smoke, that's where you'll find the best price, $1.34 a litre in Adelaide. Finally, to those lucky people who run their cars off autogas, it's yet another week of stable and cheap fuel. Port Pirie's seen the only increase, but it's nothing to set alarm bells ringing, 95 cents a litre. Prices have gone up in Adelaide as well, but it's still a good option. Only Broken Hill and Wayala are cheaper at this stage. Remember that these prices are the regional averages and do not reflect any one particular outlet. And if you do spot unleaded, diesel or auto gas cheaper, be sure to let us know on our Facebook page.
Time now to take a look at what's happening in the weather. Here's Alex Sykes.
Thanks, Ruby, and happy hump day, everyone. It was a wet and windy one across most of the Gulf today, but we'll get some reprieve from those conditions over the next couple of days. But let's take a look at today's temps to begin with. From 3 p.m, Wayala reached 14 degrees. It was windy in Broken Hill and 13, and Cooper Pedy was sunny and 15 degrees. Looking further out across the region now, it reached 14 in Port Augusta. It was partly cloudy in Port Pirie, also 14. Wet conditions were recorded in Port Lincoln and Adelaide, both 15, cloudy in Woodner 15, cloudy in Kadina 12 degrees, a shower or two in Cleve also 12, Clare reached 11 degrees. Taking a look at the satellite image now, clouds scattering across South Australia in brisk southerly winds is bringing a few brief showers, mainly about the hills and ranges. This cloud is thinning out as winds ease under a growing high, causing showers to mostly clear, clearer and dry in the north, apart from bright looking high cloud. Moving on to tomorrow's weather outlook now, and we'll start with the Gulf waters. Southerly winds 20 to 25 knots, seas around 2 to 2.5 metres, and south to southwesterly swell 2 to 4 metres. And a short time ago, there were a number of warnings current for South Australia, including a marine wind warning and a warning to sheep graziers. Cloudy conditions across most parts tomorrow. Port Lincoln and Woodner are both set to be cloudy and 16 degrees. Cleve will get to a high of 14. Set to be windy and partly cloudy in Wayala 16. Port Augusta and Kadina are both set to reach a high of 17. 17. Port Pirie will reach a high of 17 also. Clare to top 13 degrees and Broken Hill be very windy and partly cloudy and a top of 14. Taking a look further through the week now, a mainly fine day on Friday. Temperatures mainly in the mid-teens, a max of 17 in Cooper Pedy, Port Pirie, Kadina, Adelaide, Port Lincoln and Port Augusta, while Broken Hill will top 14 degrees. And now a peek at the weekend's forecast, heating up slightly on Saturday. Partly cloudy conditions across the Gulf. Cooper Pedy to top 20. Port Augusta, Woodna and Wayala will get to a high of 18. Broken Hill 15 degrees. The rain will be back on Sunday with showers forecast for Kadina, Port Lincoln, Wayala, Woodna and Port Augusta. Partly cloudy elsewhere. Temperatures mainly in the mid-teens to low 20s. And that's all the weather from me for tonight, Ruby, but I'll see you in a little bit with an update. Until then, it's back to you.
Lovely, thanks for that, Alex. And that's the local news this Wednesday evening. Thanks for joining us. I'll have updates later. Until then, enjoy your evening and we'll see you again tomorrow. Good night.